What's going on, guys? This is Empty Box, and this is Blacklight Retribution, a free-to-play PC exclusive first-person shooter. Free-to-play games. Oh, joy. Anyways, this game is pretty awesome right now. Long story short, I tried this game out back when it was in beta at that time, and holy jack snot, this game was trash. I kid you not, it was trash. Now, like I said, it was beta, so I was kind of like, well, it is beta, it does have interesting mechanics. I do think I'll like this. I do think this type of game will suit me, and I'll go into that a little bit later as to why. But you know, it's fun, but the hit detection at that time could best be described as very Battlefield 2-like, non-existent. You would hit people, you would see, like, it'll look like the guy got hit, you saw your bullets go through him, and you're like, yeah, he's gonna drop, and you'd get nothing. It's just, hit detection was terrible at the time. There's several other issues. It's just really unenjoyable, and that was kind of disappointing, to be perfectly honest, because this game kind of actually looked really cool and unique, and it had something to it with the visor that makes it stand apart from, you know, a sea of other first-person shooters. And then it's also free to play, which I'll go into a little bit later. But as to what makes this game fun, as you can probably tell, it's kind of run around and just do what you want to do, shoot people, you know, straight back to basics, shoot people. You know, there's none of that kill streak. There is, you know, hard suits, which basically is you kill people, you get more credit points down there in the bottom left-hand corner. I got 1645 right now, where you can go over to basically a terminal and, you know, buy a hard suit, which is basically kind of like a short and stubby little armored mech with a minigun and a railgun. And it's just an unholy deathbringer, but you know, that's as far as the kill streaks go, and really, I think it's not really all that too difficult to get one, so it's not like crazy goofy, but with the visor anyways, you can easily see through walls and plan out your attack as you move about this thing. So really, I don't feel like it's really overbearing, unlike, you know, several other games with vehicles or kill streaks on smaller maps. In terms of why I like this game, you know, like I said, it was straight back to basics. You know, shoot people. You got the visor, so really camping does not pay off because I will see you through the wall pretty much every single time. And, well, why would you do that? Camping ain't fun. Running around and shooting people is fun. And then there's also the damage system, which really, I think this might be one of the best damage systems I can think of. I don't know the damage off the top of my head. I do know that basically most standard players have like 200 armor or so, and standard assault rifle does 50 damage. So I'm guessing it's 4-shot kill, which seems to back up what I see in gameplay. But if you shoot people in the head, they will drop pretty much in an instant. And plus, that hit marker noise is very satisfying when you get a big fat hit marker to the face. Very satisfying. You know, so the need for headshots is definitely there. It's not as great as a game such as Counter-Strike, but it's definitely much more important than, for example, Call of Duty, where, you know, any more headshots don't really do anything different. They really don't. But so the weapon damage is really fun. The weapon handling is actually pretty fun. There is some recoil. There's not too terribly much. The most important factor is the spread, though. Much like Battlefield, all the guns have spread, which is inaccuracy, basically. Cone of fire, you're basically always hip firing. I've gone over this before in my Battlefield videos, if you don't understand the concept for whatever reason. But, you know, the weapons are really fun to use. They really are. Even though they do all look way too similar and they all sound really boring, you know, the mechanics behind it are really solid. You know, it's a really solid first-person shooter that doesn't try to go too terribly over the top and add in 50,000 things and explosions everywhere. It just does what it does, and it does what it does fairly well. Now, that said, there are some bad points about this game. Some very bad points, to be perfectly honest. And that's the fact it's free to play. I do not like free-to-play shooters. They are the most expensive games on the market. They really are. It basically comes down to you either grind a crap load of kills and everything and just to get one attachment, or else you just buy it. And then there's another thing, and another thing, and another thing. You know, one of the cool things about this game is there's a lot of weapon customization options and everything that do have small effects on the guns, but of course will add up. There's, I think, 6 or 7 different categories for attachments and everything, so you can basically build your own gun. Problem is, to actually get one of those attachments for permanent usage, which means you can use it in the future, say you don't play for a month, you come back, you'll still have that attachment. You're looking at like 5,500 game points or whatever, GP. Rough estimation, I get roughly around 200 GP a game. A game usually lasts about 10 minutes. So I'm looking at about 1,000 per hour. That's pretty absurd, to be perfectly honest. That's a lot of time just for simple things. Just for like a scope on my gun, 5 hours a game? What? No. That's way too long. They really want you to buy it, which is, I have no problem with that. I don't have a problem really with supporting developers, especially these smaller guys who really have made great, fun games. For example, High Res Studios with Tribes Ascend. I paid for beta access a while back when they were having a sale on it. I was like, you know what? I don't mind this because they made a great product. I will gladly support a smaller developer who has done a good job. I'm a PC gamer now, so let's support PC gaming. But at the same time, as far as I can tell, they don't have a similar option. Like what I would really want, I would gladly pay, $30 if they basically doubled my game points forever. If I basically earned 400, instead of 200 per game. You'd still have to work for it and everything, but it'd be much, much, much more manageable, much more enjoyable, because then I could actually sort of get around to exploring weapon customization. Now, one of the cool things they did do in terms of weapon customization, the attachments can be purchased both through real money and game points, which is in-game points and everything that you earn through playing the game. You can get it for 1 day, 7 day, or permanent. The 1 and 7 days are significantly cheaper, which I think is really cool. They did a good idea there, so that way you can try them out. And if you play for only a couple of days, you're a casual player. Not really going to make too much of an effect on you because usually they're cheap enough that by the end of a session you can have a gun built up fairly well if you take that route. But I just think it's kind of absurd that the permanent attachments are just so freaking expensive, and it really, really does affect the game pretty greatly, and does make me kind of say, well, another game where free-to-play absolutely sucks. I am not a fan of free-to-play shooters, and this is a prime example why. Another great shooter, great fun game, simple, straightforward, that is hurt by the free-to-play model. Yes, it gets more exposure for the company and the developers and everything, but at the same time, if you don't do it right, it just makes the game suck. And I'm just going to say this right now, there's only one studio out there who has done free-to-play right, and that's High Res Studios. Everyone else, you're missing the boat. Aight, bye.